Bizarre alien custom. Female aliens greet humans by revealing what's under their dresses. Rolling on the floor laughing, the human ship drifted into orbit like a quiet thought, careful and slow. It was not a warship. It carried no weapons worth naming. Its hull was painted white and blue, colors chosen after many long meetings because they felt calm and honest. Inside, the first official human delegation waited, standing straighter than usual, breathing slower than they wanted to. Commander Elias Rowan stood near the main viewport. He was not tall by human standards, not broad, not intimidating. That had been the point when he was chosen. He looked like someone you could talk to, someone who listened. His hands were folded behind his back, hiding the small tremble in his fingers. Behind him, diplomats, scientists, and translators checked their tools again and again. Every screen glowed with alien symbols slowly resolving into words. The translators worked hard, adjusting tone and meaning. This was first contact, the kind people wrote books about. The kind people got wrong. The planet below was green and gold, covered in wide forests and shallow seas. Cities curved like living things instead of straight lines. Everything about the world looked gentle, almost welcoming. The alien species waiting for them was called the Khepri by their own language, though the word meant something closer to those who show. Humans did not yet know why. The shuttle descended through the clouds and landed on a smooth stone platform surrounded by tall, curved structures. The air outside was warm and clean. It smelled faintly of rain and leaves. When the doors opened, the humans stepped out slowly, following the protocol they had practiced for months. The Khepri delegation waited in a wide semicircle. They were tall and slender, with smooth skin that shifted color slightly in the light. Their faces were calm, their large eyes unblinking but not threatening. They wore long, flowing garments that looked like dresses, layered and elegant, woven with faintly glowing threads. Elias felt a strange sense of being studied, not with suspicion, but with curiosity so deep it felt physical. The lead Khepri stepped forward. She was clearly female by their own classification, though human scientists still argued over the exact meaning of that. Her posture was straight, her movements graceful. When she spoke, the translator hummed softly. "We welcome the humans," her voice said, gentle and musical. "You have traveled far, you have chosen to show yourselves, this is good." Elias bowed slightly as rehearsed. "We thank you for receiving us, we come in peace and with respect." There was a soft murmur among the Khepri. Their skin shifted to warmer colors, gold and soft green. Elias took that as a good sign. The lead Khepri raised her hands slowly. The humans tensed just a little. Movement always carried meaning. Then she did something no human had expected. She lifted the outer layer of her garment. Several human hearts skipped. One scientist gasped. A security officer stiffened, fingers twitching near a weapon that was not supposed to be needed. Then the inner layer lifted as well. Time seemed to freeze. Under the garment was not exposed flesh in any human sense. Instead, there was a smooth, glowing structure set into the Khepri's torso. It looked almost like living crystal, shaped in branching patterns that pulsed with soft light. Colors flowed across it, blue, violet, gold, changing slowly, calmly. One by one, the other Khepri females followed her lead, lifting their garments and revealing similar glowing crests. The platform filled with gentle light. The humans stood frozen, minds racing. Training manuals did not cover this. Cultural databases had nothing like it. Every human instinct screamed confusion. Elias forced himself to breathe. He raised a hand, palm outward, the universal signal for pause. The lead Khepri tilted her head. Her crest shifted to a questioning shade of pale blue. "Is the greeting not acceptable?" she asked. Elias chose his words carefully. "We did not understand that this was part of your greeting. Among humans, revealing the body has different meanings." The Khepri delegation grew very still. Their crests dimmed slightly, colors turning muted. "Different meanings," the leader repeated. "Please explain." Before Elias could speak, one of the human cultural specialists stepped forward. Her voice shook, but she kept it steady. "For humans, bodies are private. We cover them not because of shame, but because they are personal. Revealing them without consent can cause discomfort." The Khepri leader listened closely. When the explanation ended, she lowered her garments slowly. The others followed. The glow faded, though not completely. "We did not intend discomfort," the leader said. "Among our people, the crest is the self. It shows truth, emotion, lineage. To reveal it is to say, I hide nothing from you." Elias felt the tension in his chest ease just a little. Then we understand the intention, he said. We are honored, but we cannot return the gesture in the same way. The Kepri's eyes focused on him. You have no crest. No, Elias said simply. A quiet ripple moved through the alien group. Skin tones shifted to surprise, to curiosity, to something that looked almost like concern. How do others know your state? One Kepri asked. Your honesty, your fear, your loyalty. They don't, Elias replied, not by looking. That answer changed everything. The talks moved indoors into a wide hall filled with natural light. The Kepri architecture felt alive, grown rather than built. As the humans and aliens sat across from each other, the questions came, gentle but endless. The Kepri learned that humans could smile while afraid, speak calmly while angry, promise peace while preparing for war. They learned that human faces showed only what humans chose to show. The humans learned that Kepri children were taught from birth to read the crest, to see lies as easily as color, to trust what was visible. To the Kepri, humanity was unsettling. How do you trust each other? The leader asked. We choose to, Elias said. That answer did not satisfy them. As hours passed, misunderstanding slowly turned into understanding. Food was shared, stories were exchanged. The Kepri spoke of a galaxy where species were judged by what could be seen, measured, revealed. Deception was rare and secrecy was viewed with fear. That was when the warning came. A Kepri aide entered the hall, her crest flashing sharp red patterns. She spoke quickly in her own language before the translator caught up. A foreign fleet has entered the system, the translation said. The Veiled Dominion. The Kepri leader's crest darkened. They enforce transparency, she explained to the humans. They believe any species that hides itself is dangerous. They force others to reveal everything: biology, thought patterns, history. Elias felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. They will not like us, he said. No, the leader agreed. They will not understand you. Outside, distant lights appeared in the sky, cold and sharp, nothing like the gentle curves of Kepri ships. The Dominion vessels moved with purpose, not curiosity. The Kepri leader looked at Elias, truly looked at him, as if trying to see through skin and bone, and thought. You cannot reveal what you do not show, she said slowly. This may place you in danger. Elias met her gaze. His face was calm. Inside, fear and resolve twisted together, familiar companions. Then we will face that danger, he said, as we always have. The Kepri did not fully understand what he meant, but something in his tone made their crests glow with a new color, one they had not used before, the color of respect. Above the planet, the Dominion fleet advanced, unaware that they had just encountered a species whose greatest strength was everything they kept hidden. The Dominion ships moved into orbit like blades sliding into place. They were sharp and dark, built with hard angles that cut against the soft curves of the Kepri world. Their engines burned with a cold blue light, and their presence alone changed the feeling of the sky. Where it had once felt open and calm, it now felt watched. Inside the great hall, silence spread as the alert echoed through every chamber. The Kepri delegates stood very still. Their crests dimmed and shifted into tight, controlled patterns. Fear was not something they could hide, and now it showed clearly. Elias Rowan watched the alien colors change. He did not need a crest to understand what they meant. They are closer than expected, said one of the human analysts, her voice low. They've locked onto all major cities. The Kepri leader turned toward Elias. They will demand a reveal, she said. They always do. They believe anything hidden is a threat. And if someone refuses, Elias asked, her crest darkened to deep gray, they take what they want. That was all she needed to say. A Dominion transmission cut through the air, cold and sharp. The translator worked quickly, smoothing the harsh alien sounds into words humans could understand. Unregistered species detected, the voice said. You are in violation of galactic transparency law. Step forward and reveal your inner markers. Resistance will be corrected. The Kepri flinched as one. To them, this was not just a threat. It was an attack on the self. Elias took a slow breath. May we speak with them? He asked. The Kepri leader hesitated. Her people had never hidden themselves. They had never needed to, but she remembered what Elias had said earlier, that humans chose when to trust. You may, she said at last. The connection opened. A Dominion representative appeared on a floating display. Its form was tall and thin, wrapped in layers of dark material. Unlike the Kepri, its reveal was forced open. Its inner structures glowed harsh white, exposed and rigid, like something held under pressure. Identify yourselves, the Dominion voice commanded. I am Commander Elias Rowan, Elias said calmly, representative of humanity. The Dominion paused, its sensors swept over him again and again. You display no visible truth markers, it said. Explain. We don't have them, Elias replied. That is impossible. It's unusual, Elias said. Not impossible. The Dominion's glow intensified. Species without transparency have historically proven violent, deceptive, and unstable. Elias nodded once. Sometimes, he said, but not because we hide, because we learn. The Dominion did not like that answer. You will submit to examination, it said. Your biology will be adapted to comply. Behind Elias, several humans tensed. They were not soldiers, but they knew what those words meant. Elias felt fear rise in his chest. He did not show it. He had learned long ago how to carry fear without letting it rule him. No, he said. The word was simple. It landed like a stone. The Dominion voice dropped in tone. Refusal confirms threat status. Before the Dominion could act, the Khepri leader stepped forward. Her crest flared bright gold, visible to all. These humans are our guests, she said. They have shown respect. Your species' judgment is compromised, the Dominion replied. You will stand aside. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Elias spoke again. If you want to understand us, he said, you don't need to cut us open. The Dominion tilted its head. Then reveal. Elias turned to his people. He did not give orders. He did not need to. They understood. A human historian stepped forward and connected a small device to the central display. Images filled the air. The Dominion expected flesh, light, biology. Instead, it saw history, cities burning under alien skies, human ships breaking apart and still sending distress calls. Crowded shelters on dying worlds, then rebuilding. Hands planting trees in ash-covered soil, children laughing under repaired domes, humans standing between danger and weaker allies. The images kept coming. Wars humans had nearly lost. Plagues survived through stubborn care. Mistakes made and paid for, again and again. This is our reveal, Elias said quietly. Not what we are made of, what we have endured. The Dominion's glow flickered. Its systems struggled to categorize what it was seeing. Historical data does not replace transparency, it said. Maybe not for you, Elias replied. But for us, it's everything. The Khepri watched in stunned silence. They had never seen a species show its soul without showing its body. The Dominion scanned deeper, trying to find patterns, control points, something it could force open. It found none. You conceal intent, it accused. Yes, Elias said, we do because intent can change, we learn, we adapt. The Dominion hesitated. That hesitation was new. Other species had always revealed fear before resisting. Humans did not. A second Dominion ship shifted position, weapons charging. The Khepri recoiled, crests flashing warning red. Elias raised his hand again, calm and steady. If you attack this world, he said, you will prove what you believe. That force matters more than understanding. And if we do not, the Dominion asked. Then you will learn, Elias said. That hiding does not mean threatening. Sometimes it means surviving. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the Dominion ships powered down their weapons, not fully, but enough. The representative's glow softened just slightly. Your species presents an anomaly, it said. You cannot be measured. Elias allowed himself a small smile. We get that a lot. The Dominion transmission ended. One by one, the dark ships pulled back, retreating to a distant orbit. They did not apologize, they did not explain, but they left. When the sky cleared, the Khepri leader turned to Elias. Her crest shone with a deep, steady light. You showed without revealing, she said. We did not know that was possible. Elias shrugged gently. We didn't either once. The Khepri council gathered later, speaking softly among themselves. Their culture would need time to change, but change had begun. We judge by what is seen, the leader said at last. But you judge by what is chosen. Yes, Elias said, and that choice is what makes trust real. As the human delegation prepared to leave, the Khepri leader did something unexpected. She lifted her garment again, revealing her crest. But this time she did not do it for ceremony. She did it for Elias alone. Her crest glowed a color humans had never seen before. Not fear, not curiosity, hope. You are welcome among us, she said. Not because we can see you, but because you let us know you. Elias bowed deeper this time. As the human ship rose into the sky, the Khepri watched, their crests bright against the fading light. Somewhere far away, the Dominion would be adjusting its laws, troubled by a species it could not force open. and humanity moved forward once more, carrying its greatest strength exactly where it always had. The human ship did not travel far before the galaxy answered. News spread faster than any vessel. It moved through trade routes, data relays, and whispered warnings between species. A new kind of people had arrived, a species that could not be read, a species that did not reveal yet somehow showed more than anyone else. On Kepri Theta, life began to change. The Kepri were a people of habit. For thousands of cycles, their society had been built on visibility. Truth was color, emotion was light, trust was something you could see. After the humans left, the council met again and again, their crests glowing with uncertainty. The leader stood at the center of the chamber, her posture calm but thoughtful. "We have always believed that what is hidden is dangerous," she said, "but the humans hid everything, and yet they did not harm us." Some of the elders shifted, their crests showing discomfort. "They are an exception," one argued. "One anomaly does not change the rule." "An anomaly," the leader repeated softly, "is how change begins." Elsewhere in the galaxy, the Dominion was not at peace. The retreat from Kepri space had shaken them more than they would ever admit. Their laws were clear. Transparency was safety. Control was order. And yet they had met a species that did not fit, one that could not be forced into the light without breaking something important. In a dark chamber aboard a Dominion command vessel, analysts reviewed the human data again. Not biology, not inner markers, history, choices, endurance. "They weaponize uncertainty," one strategist said. "No," another replied slowly. "They survive it." That thought spread unease. Back on Earth, Elias Rowan stood before the assembly. Screens surrounded him, showing representatives from dozens of nations. This was not the first time humans had faced something bigger than themselves, but it was the first time the galaxy was watching. "They will come again," Elias said plainly. "Not just the Dominion, others, some curious, some afraid." "And what do we do?" a delegate asked. Elias paused. He chose honesty, not comfort. "We stay human," he said. "We don't rush to explain ourselves. We don't hide out of fear. And we don't reveal just to be accepted." The assembly listened. They had learned long ago that strength did not come from pretending to be simple. The next contact came sooner than expected. A neutral trade species requested talks, then another, then 3 more. They all asked the same thing in different ways. "How do humans trust without seeing?" Human diplomats answered simply, "By choosing to." Some species found that terrifying, others found it freeing. On Kepri Theta, the leader walked through a public garden with a young Kepri child. The child watched humans on a distant screen, replaying recordings of Elias speaking. "They don't glow," the child said. "How do they know who they are?" The leader knelt. Her crest softened to warm tones. "They decide," she said, "every day." The child considered this. "That sounds hard." "Yes," the leader agreed, "but it also sounds strong." The real test came when the Dominion returned. This time they did not come with weapons charged. They came with envoys. The message was short and careful. "Request dialogue with humanity, no enforcement." That alone shook the galaxy. The meeting took place in neutral space. Elias stood once again, facing the Dominion representative. This time there was no threat in its posture, only tension. "You disrupt established order," the Dominion said. "Other species question our laws." "Good," Elias replied calmly. "Laws should survive questions." The Dominion did not argue. "You are difficult," it said. Elias allowed a small smile. "We've been told." The Dominion hesitated, then asked something no human expected. "How do you carry fear without showing it?" Elias thought for a moment. Then he answered honestly. "By admitting it exists, and by not letting it decide everything." The Dominion's inner glow shifted, unstable. "That is inefficient." "Maybe," Elias said, "but it keeps us human." That word lingered. Human, not a threat, not an anomaly, a choice. After the meeting, nothing changed all at once. The Dominion did not abandon its laws. The galaxy did not suddenly become kind, but cracks formed, small ones, enough for light to enter. On Kepri Theta, a new custom quietly appeared. Some Kepri began wearing layered garments even in private, not to hide shame, but to feel what humans felt. To choose when to reveal. It was uncomfortable at first, even frightening, but also empowering. The leader watched as her people learned this new balance, visibility and choice, truth and privacy. She thought of Elias Rowan and his calm eyes, hiding storms without lying about them. Far away, human ships continued to travel. They made mistakes, they argued, they failed, they tried again, they did not glow, but everywhere they went, something changed. Species learned that strength did not always shine. Sometimes it waited, and the galaxy slowly, carefully began to understand the species that kept its power exactly where it belonged, not on display. But within, the galaxy did not change quickly, but it changed in a way that could not be undone. Years passed after the meeting with the Dominion, not peaceful years, not easy ones, but steady. Humanity became something new in the shared stories of space, not conquerors. Not saints, something harder to define. They were called the veiled minds by some species, the quiet ones by others. A few called them dangerous, but always in a careful voice. Elias Rowan no longer stood on the front line of diplomacy. Age had touched him gently, but it had touched him all the same. His hair had gone gray, his steps slower. Yet when he walked into a room, conversations still softened. People listened. He stood now on a balcony overlooking Earth's largest orbital station. Ships from dozens of species moved in slow, careful paths beyond the glass. Humans were no longer rare among them. They worked as traders, engineers, mediators. They argued, they laughed, they adapted. A young diplomat joined Elias at the railing. She was new, still carrying the quiet tension of someone who had not yet failed publicly. "They're meeting again," she said. "The Dominion Council. They're voting on a revision to the transparency law." Elias nodded. "That was always coming. They say it's because of us." Elias smiled faintly. "It's because of choice. We just reminded them it exists." The vote did not end transparency, but it ended force. For the first time in known galactic history, a species was allowed to choose how much of itself to show. That frightened many. Not all reactions were calm. On the edge of known space, a coalition of minor species began to collapse. Without forced transparency, old grudges surfaced. Lies were revealed too late. Some worlds burned because they had never learned how to live with hidden things. Human relief ships arrived quietly, not to rule, not to judge. They helped where they could and left where they were not wanted. "This is your choice," they said again and again. "We won't take it from you." That confused some species more than violence ever had. On Kepri Theta, the changes ran deep. The crest still glowed. That would never change. But now children were taught something new alongside color reading. They were taught silence. They were taught that not every truth needed to be shared at once. At first, it caused pain. One young Kepri accused another of hiding anger. The accusation cut deep because it was true. But instead of punishment, the elders asked why. The answer took hours. The conversation took days. It ended without exile. That alone would have been impossible before humanity. The Kepri leader, older now but still sharp, stood in the same great hall where Elias had once spoken. This time she addressed not humans but her own people. "We believed light was safety," she said. "Now we know light without choice is a cage." Her crest glowed with calm certainty. Far away, the Dominion struggled. Their society had been built on rules so strict they had forgotten why they existed. When enforcement ended, something broke. Not cities, not fleets, certainty. Some Dominion citizens welcomed it. Others feared it deeply. A few extremist factions called humanity a virus of doubt. One such group acted. They attacked a mixed species station near the border, not with weapons meant to destroy structures, but with devices designed to force biological reveals. Species panicked. Systems failed, people died. The galaxy held its breath. Human ships arrived within hours, not battleships, medical carriers, evacuation vessels. Human crews entered chaos with steady hands. They shielded others with their own bodies. They shut down devices not by overpowering them, but by understanding how they worked. One human engineer lost an arm disabling a reveal engine. He did not scream. He did not glow. He simply said, "Finish the job." That image spread everywhere. The extremist group vanished soon after. Some were captured, some fled, none found support. The Dominion Council issued a formal statement, short, careful. "Enforced transparency will no longer be used under Dominion authority." It was not an apology. It was enough. Years later, a young human child stood on Kepri Theta, staring up at glowing crests with wide eyes. Her parents watched nearby, tense but trusting. The child pointed. "They're pretty," she said. "They are," her mother replied. A Kepri elder knelt beside the child. "Do you want to see mine?" she asked. The child nodded eagerly. The elder lifted her garment slightly, just enough. The crest glowed softly. The child smiled. "It's warm." The elder smiled too. "Yours is too," she said gently, "even if we can't see it." The child thought about that for a long time. On Earth, Elias Rowan passed away quietly one morning looking out at the stars. No ceremony followed immediately. Humanity had learned something from the Kepri. Some things were not meant to be displayed. But when the galaxy learned of his death, messages arrived by the thousands. Not glowing crests, not forced reveals, stories, moments, choices, small acts of trust. The Dominion sent one message. It contained no symbols, no markers, no data beyond text. "We did not understand you," it read. "We are learning." Humanity did not respond publicly. They did not need to. Decades passed, then centuries. Humans changed as they always had. They argued with themselves. They evolved. They disagreed about what it meant to be human. But one thing remained. They never gave up the right to choose what they revealed. And because of that, the galaxy learned something slow and difficult and necessary. That truth forced is fragile, but truth chosen can survive anything. Among the stars, new species would one day rise. Some would glow, some would hide, some would do both. And somewhere in their first stories, passed quietly from mind to mind, would be a simple warning and a simple promise. Beware the species that does not shine. They are not empty, they are deep, and they will endure.